Welcome back to the news at 10. The River State Governor Nyesom Wike says the disruption of the collation process in Port Harcourt by men suspected to be officers of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad has vindicated him. In the run-up to the Rivers rerun legislative polls, the governor had alleged a plan by security agents to influence the outcome of the elections. He said he was disappointed after listening to the comments of the spokesman of the force, Mr. Don Awuna, who said that the people who disrupted the exercise captured on video were not policemen.
Hey, I've been vindicated. If you watch the video clip, you'll see where the electoral officer held the OC son, Akim Fakuro. They held him because of the role they were playing, beating them, electoral personnel, beating up Pt.3 party agents. But you see, like I said, it's very shameful when the police population officer came out and said that they don't know them as members of Nigerian police. I know it pains me that this is the same man I have talked about. It pains me as a governor. This is the same man I've complained to police hierarchy. Look at the role of this same person. And nothing is being done about it. Now you are seeing the man on video where the electoral officer held the man. And then the police electoral officer will come out to tell Nigerians that they don't believe that they are Nigerian police. What an unfortunate incident.
The River State Governor, Nyesom Wike, the Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, Professor Ishak Uluyede, has given candidates sitting for the 2017 computer-based test JAM examination the assurance of proper coordination and monitoring. At an interactive meeting in Lagos between the management of JAM and proprietors of computer-based centres across the country, Professor Uluyede charged CBT proprietors to live up to JAM standard or face sanctions. Some of the issues include allegations of fake SMS to defraud candidates and ATM pin theft.
I don't believe that you are paid to make mistake. I don't like people who say, it's a human being, he must make mistake. Mistake must come, and you must be remorseful for mistakes, not something you take for granted that it must come.
Now, the bad state of some major roads in the southeast remains a cause for concern for residents and motorists in the affected states. The House of Representatives Committee on Works is visiting the zone to get first-hand information on the condition of these roads, while calling on the federal authorities to fix them.
This has been the situation here and in most of the other roads in the southeast. But this one is a federal road. State government is carrying out palliative measures on some of the roads, and this 18.5-kilometer stretch between Umunya and Amobia on the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway is one of the ones being worked on. A state official who received the members of the House of Representatives Committee on Works did not mince words in explaining to them what the state government is doing to make the road possible.
The stretch between Amobia and Umunya, which is 18.5 kilometers, that's the worst condition of the federal road in Anambra State. Now we are at another road, federal road, which is Otuacha, Nzam, Kogi, Federal Highway. This road is about 34 kilometers. The state government is doing palliative grading just to enable our people get home during this Christmas, just as we are doing at the stretch between Okusu and Omonia.
The members of the committee commended the state government for the intervention and lamented the bad state of the road.
You know, it's self-evident when you go around, and it may not actually be a matter of deliberate neglect. It could be a matter of not understanding the design requirements of the area. A major problem of this road is contractual. It's not just funding. So, and we're insisting that the ministry and the contractor will have to sit down and resolve those issues.
The team also visited major concerned citizens in Anambra State.
This road, the Enugu-Onitsha road, they kill many people. it was abandoned. I never visited my village for 3 months. And then until these people came up.
A team also visited Newi Amichi Uga Highway, where the contractor complained of funds, which he says will help him deliver the road by May 2017, if the funds are provided.
The Minister of Solid Minerals, Kayode Fayemi, has announced plans for the implementation of a 2-year plan that will eradicate illegal mining. Mr. Fayemi, who was speaking at a meeting with his South African counterpart, Mosembwenzi Zwane, explains the initiative will ensure local artisans are registered and empowered. Meanwhile, Mr. Zwane notes that the partnership between Nigeria and South Africa will create economically beneficial opportunities for both countries.
Mining security is also one of the things that we have put in as a priority in this sector. But mining security is not just about law and order and arresting people. Yes, we want to do that. If you're involved in illegal mining, we want to make sure that we dissuade you from doing it and that there is a deterrent in doing that. However, a much more enduring program that we have in curbing illegal mining is actually empowering the artisanal miners. They're the ones that are most involved in illegal mining. And how do we empower them? One, by giving them their own cadastre to mine from, by giving them support, access to finance, technology, and helping them to develop themselves into cooperatives. That way, the innumerable number of people involved in illegal mining will begin to formalize their involvement and legitimate. That's taking place right now. We've started that process. But we're doing it in partnership with states.
Let's take a look at a bit of business. Here's Melinda Akinlami. Welcome to Business News. The head of the Statistics Office, Dr. Yemi Kale, has announced that an updated version of the nation's poverty index will be ready by January 2018. Dr. Kale, who was speaking at a meeting in Abuja, said the report will give an insight into the living standards of Nigerians using their income and expenditure. He also believes the inflation rate will drop with the right policies. The Bank of Industry has begun the distribution of checks to 20 beneficiaries under the first phase of the 1 billion naira Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Fund. At the ceremony in Osun State, the BOI Acting Managing Director, Mr. Wahid Olagunju, said the project is to enable more people become employers of labor.
Our facilities range between 3 to 5 years and in single digits at 7.5%. So it depends on the case-by-case basis. No two projects are the same, so they cannot all have the same tenure. They cannot all have the same condition. In this particular case, job creation is the most important consideration because the multiplier effects per unit of investment in SMEs, my MSMEs in particular, is much, much higher than in other sizes of businesses. I'm also those in the agriculture value chain, from value addition, to packaging, to distribution. So jobs are created across the entire value chain, vertically and horizontally. The multiplier effects and the rental impact are quite enormous. We received more than 20 applications, certainly. It's just that only the first 20 scaled through. As of yesterday, that's why I presented the checks today. So we're considering the other applications, and we believe early in the new year, the other beneficiaries will also receive their own checks.
The Senate says it's set to probe the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, over the failure of one of its subsidiaries, the Nigerian Petroleum Development Corporation, to remit over $5 billion. This followed a motion raised by Senator Dino Melaye, alleging that since 2013, the NPDC has been lifting crude oil worth over $3 billion without paying funds into the Federation account. The Senate has directed its committees on petroleum upstream and finance to investigate the matter. In the meantime, the operating deficit of the NNPC stood at 16.9 billion naira. The October report was slightly lower than the 17.2 billion naira posted in September.
due to the improved performance from the pipeline and products marketing company. The PPMC boosted sales to 112 billion naira, offsetting its previous loss of 11.2 billion to 1.4 billion naira profit. However, the report released last Friday shows weaker figures from the downstream operations of the NNPC and from the 4 refining companies. The market cap of the Nigerian Stock Exchange rose by 87.2 billion naira at the close of today's trading session, lifted by the oil and gas sector, consumer goods and financial services. For more on today's trading figures, let's join Bisi Adebayo.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. As financial markets across the country resume from the one-day holiday in commemoration of the birthday of Prophet Muhammad, the benchmark index of the local bourse ends Tuesday's session by nearly 1%. The rise was driven largely by the positive activities from 23 stocks led by Seplat, Forte Oil and Champion Breweries in the top 3 category. On the other hand, 14 equities, including Avon Crown Cap, Portland Paints and AXA Mansard, recorded declines in their share prices. The day's transaction saw a total turnover of 376.69 million shares sold for 2.41 billion naira in 2,885 deals. The major contributors to that figure were Wema Bank, Diamond Bank and FCMB. And that ends the Stock Market Reports. I am Bisi Adebayo.
U.S. stocks traded higher on Tuesday, extending the previous rally, while European stock markets closed in the green. But it was a mixed session for Asian markets as investors wait for the much-anticipated Federal Reserve rate hike, which is expected this week. That's business news. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akinlami.
First Bank of Nigeria is supporting efforts being made by the government to grow the country's food subsector. Now, this move aims to enhance the diversification of the economy through the agriculture value chain. The bank's support was highlighted at the second edition of the Fiesta of Flavors here in Lagos.
The Fiesta of Flavors is a 2-day food fair, bringing together vendors with diverse culinaries to exhibit their offers.
For us, it's awesome. We started business maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, so it's great exposure for a startup like me.
To entertain participants, side attractions including fastest eater contest, cooking competition and aerobics are featured. The Fiesta is organized by Eventful Nigeria and constantly sponsored by foremost business startups supporter, First Bank of Nigeria.
We're encouraging businesses that ordinarily will not get attention. You have all sort of local food that is not celebrated in any way. But as you begin to bring them out into events like this, they begin to see the value of structuring and emerging as serious businesses.
They were one of the very first banks to recognize the importance of food and the agricultural value chain, because really, as we all say, food is the new oil. This is the business now, and so many young people are going into it. So it's fantastic that First Bank was perceptive enough to know that this is the new reality.
SMEs are into food, and for us at First Bank, it's about the whole value chain of the food business, from the agri side of the business to the table.
For the vendors, First Bank's support for the food industry signals a brighter future.
The food industry is very important for the future of Nigeria. So it lets people know that the things that you have here, you can use to produce really high quality products.
First Bank is the bank that helps small businesses, SME, and now they have a slogan that says, food is first. So I'm tapping into that.
According to the USDA Foreign Agricultural Service, domestic food processing in Nigeria is underdeveloped. But with food fairs like this supported by First Bank, it will appear there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Next on the news at 10, attention of football lovers on the continent shifts to Lagos as the Africa Beach Soccer Cup of Nations begins. That's on sports. Please stay with us.